Hello folks and welcome back to Quick Reviews, the show where we quickly reviews the games that we've been playing throughout these last couple of weeks. With me today is Warak.
Hi, my name is Warak and I do reviews sometimes.
And Vegetas.
Yeah, I also do reviews.
Well, we've got some games today, the big one being, of course, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
It's a really good game that I don't think Vegetas will like, and this is kind of a word of warning for everyone out there who doesn't like crafting, because the game has a lot of crafting, and that's the one thing that I can see people going, oh, I don't think so. So it's one of those games, it's kind of like Far Cry in that way, where you walk from point A to point B, but you're worried about picking up every leaf, every piece of wood, everything, because you know you're going to need to craft stuff in the future. And there's a lot of crafting.
So he was talking about, he told me a little bit about the crafting system, saying that I needed a boar pelt and I killed the boar, but there's no pelt in the boar.
So the boar skin is actually, it's a rare item, so there's a drop chance to get the boar skin. And some items require some rare stuff. Usually that's stuff more down the line, where let's say you want to upgrade the size of your bag so you can carry more resources. You can upgrade it like 3 times before you need a rare item. And yesterday I actually just upgraded it all the way and I have no more upgrades.
It's like if the game doesn't like force you to craft every time. It's like you're into the next mission and you know you're gonna have to craft for the next mission, or else you ain't gonna be prepared. But if the game is not like forcing you to do that every single time, I can bear with it.
So it's that thing where there are these upgrades that are useful to have, like the bigger arrow space, the bigger weapon bag, the bigger resource bag. That stuff is useful to have, and you probably want to stop here and there to farm items to get that sort of stuff. But outside of that, on the mission-to-mission basis, what you're gonna need is mostly to craft arrows and craft ammunition, which
It's okay with me.
Yeah, it's now rare materials. I never had a problem with, I don't have enough materials to craft arrows, and it's stuff that you can do sort of on the fly. It's really fast.
Just to make sure, is that like, do you feel that's the major problem of this game, the crafting system?
I haven't seen that as a problem yet, personally, but I know a lot of people are not into the crafting, so I can see some people being turned off by that aspect of the game for sure.
Is it the material that's rare or the animal itself that's rare?
I haven't seen rare animals. It's the actual material. It's a drop rate. So yeah.
So that might be silly for some people, because when I kill a boar, I expect, the boar has a fucking pelt, right?
That specific stuff, it's kind of weird.
I think your problem here is the name of the item itself, because that's just a name, boar skin. You know, boar skin is rare. They could have called that anything else.
Just kill the fucking pig. There's a pelt. The fucking pelt is there. There's no pelt. I can't remember the pelt. Does it get in the way? The craft, does it get in the way of the game? Like, fuck, I can't do this shit unless I craft this ultra rare item.
I think the one thing that would get in the way is if you don't have enough resources to buy a new weapon at some point. Because I've definitely run into situations where I'm shooting 50 arrows into this robot, and I'm not doing enough damage. And later I bought another bow which has different types of arrows, like arrows that do a lot of tear instead of damage, and tear is to remove components from the robots, and that reveals like certain weak spots and I'm able to kill them faster. But that bow, it cost me like 1,000 metal scraps, which is the game's currency, and also a crafting material. Like, you have to decide, do I spend the metal scraps on crafting, or do I spend this on buying a new bow? So yeah, that bow was expensive, but it made my life a lot easier. And I can see, like, later down the road, if you haven't bought any weapons, that stuff could get in the way. But the crafting itself, I thought my bag was getting full a lot of the times, so I dedicated myself to upgrading the bag, and now it's fine. So I haven't felt like that stuff gets in the way too much.
Sure. If it's that way, I think I can support the crafting system.
Yeah, it's cool. Gameplay-wise, though, it's really amazing.
Do the enemies scale up with the more you go?
They have levels. It's an RPG.
Or it's like RPG.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean there could be like certain zones there are higher level enemies, or
kind of.
So it's both things.
There are robots that are bigger and harder to bring down, but also they show up in later areas in the game.
And they are about the same level, and they're easier to kill because you're higher level than before.
So your level, it doesn't change much besides you buying your skills for your skill stuff, but it's the arrow types, the elemental types, knowing the robot, knowing its weaknesses. That's what's gonna have you kill the robot a lot faster. There's this thing called challenges, hunting challenges, and they have been amazing into teaching me game mechanics, like little mechanics hidden within the game's systems. Last time it was about using a shock trap on a big guy called Belly something, and when he triggers the shock trap, he falls in a way that reveals some canisters behind below his belly, and you shoot the canisters with fire, and the canisters blow up.
Interesting.
So every little robot has different components and different elemental weaknesses. So like some of them run on this version of fuel that if you shoot with fire they blow up, but others run on battery, so you have to use electricity to make that stuff blow up. Some have those canisters, some have weapons that you can knock off and then grab the weapon and shoot the robots with their own body.
So it's more skill dependent than level dependent.
It's a lot of knowledge in a way, like knowing the beast and having faced it before, because there's a lot of robots, you know, and you don't always have the time to scan the robot and look for its weak spots and figure out, okay, that thing is weak to fire, I'm gonna shoot that thing with
can you
fire.
Can you compare it with elemental weaknesses and strength and
there are.
Yes, but they are specific to the components that you're shooting. It's not like the whole robot is weak to fire, but that specific component is weak to fire, you know. And I've compared this game to The Witcher, because I think side quests wise, it's taken a lot of inspiration from that, because it's amazing. Like the side stories are really cool. They have really cool characters. I've been enjoying my time with it. Like I'm level 25. The next main mission is level 15. That's how much side content I've been doing, and there's a lot of it. Like there's side missions. Below that there's errands, which I don't know the difference because they're also missions with characters and all that. Below that there's the hunting challenges. Below that there's corrupted zones. There's outposts that you can take out in any style that you want, Far Cry style, you know.
Love to tube.
There's cauldrons, which I still haven't done my first one. That's the next thing I want to do. There's a lot. And it's really cool.
All right. Okay, you're talking about the gameplay, the progression. Is the map like open? You can do like is it open world?
Map is fucking
open
big.
world. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
there's some story reasons that won't allow you to progress further sometimes.
So invisible walls or
no,
what
it's like, hey, you're living inside this village. There's a gate. We won't open the gate.
Oh, okay.
Until you've done this story mission, and then.
So you're talking about progression and gameplay. You enjoy this, from the game.
Yeah, it's amazing.
How about the story? And because it's a different world where machines are kind of animals, right?
Yeah, I like. So I expected a very different story from this. I expected this to be Aloy discovering, there were humans in this planet before, and they were the dominant race, and what happened to them, what led to these machines, and I thought they were gonna drag that stuff for a while.
But
within
the
first 30 seconds, they're like, the old ones of the metal world, they fucked up.
Oh, okay.
And it becomes like a different story. It's the story that these guys want to tell within this very cool universe. And there's a lot of stuff that addresses like the old ones, and there's a lot of ruins that you can explore, and there's collectibles that sort of fill in the gaps of the lore. But it's about how humanity has survived in this post-apocalyptic. It's about rival tribes, and it's about their customs. And usually, like when they're like, my tribe performs this ritual, I'm just like, fucking whatever, let me play the game. But I found that stuff to be very interesting so far, but I'm still at the beginning, so it's
okay. So they got it. They just removed the part where the old ones, the humans, the part with the apocalypse, where everything goes to shit. That's not really the most important part of the story in the game.
So far, no.
No, it's just after rebuilding, right?
Yeah.
It's not while the humanity is rebuilding.
The story is not about what happened. It's just about what you're saying.
And I don't know if the story is going to go into that, but so far, like they acknowledge these guys existed, these guys from the metal world, and there are these ruins, and you're not supposed to go into the ruins.
That's the part where I'm about to shut up because I've seen some spoilers.
Interesting. Because I thought like you that the story would be like what happened in the past. So why did we get here?
And I am curious about that stuff. I want to know about that stuff, and I'm sure they'll dive into it at some point. But I'm even more curious about the origin of the character Aloy, and Like, I want to see
What's her
the
name?
story.
Aloy. Are you going to give it an A? That's that's the answer. The question.
You know, I think this game is walking towards the DS, but let's give it an A for now.
Walking towards DS.
We need to be, you know,
before we beat the game and be like, this is a must. Nah, let's A
be
for
like,
sure
you know.
right now. But I think it's walking towards something bigger than that.
next.
Next
Up
up,
next.
we have an update on 2 games because I've finished Resident Evil 7 and we've kept playing For Honor. So
Yeah.
what's first?
Let's go for Honor first. I wanted to get out of the way.
So For Honor, we gave it an A last time. And we're all leaning towards lowering that score towards a B.
Yes. You know why? Not because of the game itself, not because of the gameplay itself.
I have some gameplay reasons.
No,
bring
Warwick
that.
just
No,
keeps
my
dying.
main my okay. We can take it out. Let's get out of the way. I'm not a skilled player. Okay, I die a lot, but that's not a problem.
I kill Warwick a lot.
With one character, my main problem is the connections problems that I've been having and the crashes that we still have on the game. That's the main reason for me to lower the score, because I'm still enjoying the gameplay. I still have fun killing people.
For me, I feel burned out kind of already, and it's the problems that I had in the beta where I don't like Dominion, I don't like Skirmish 4v4 because it takes away from that combat system. It stops being a game about there is strategic value to it, but it's not about the combat system anymore. It's about outnumbering your player. It's about scattering your team when you can. It's about coordination, and I don't want to play a MOBA. Okay, I just don't want to play a MOBA. I want to play a fighting game, and those game modes I think don't take good advantage of that fighting system. Brawls and duels is where it's at, but even that, I am starting to burn out because I feel like I've seen it all.
You've seen it all.
It's I've fought against this class before, and I fought against the skilled berserker. Now I'm fighting against a less skilled berserker, and like that's the 2 variants. I know how this fight's gonna go, and I don't like the faction war still because I feel like it's meaningless. Every time I deploy war assets, I feel like, what was my impact? Less than 1%? Fuck this game.
I feel that the community of this game is gonna die really fast because there's gonna be that group of skilled players that are gonna keep playing, and then other people that, for instance, buy the game in 2 months from now, are going to try to get into the multiplayer and then gonna find only that group of skilled players, and while the rest has moved on to another game.
Yeah, that's
gonna be an entry barrier to get into that game because
in any fighting game.
In any fighting game, of course.
The saddest part, I haven't been playing a lot, so. If you don't play a lot, when you go back to the game, you're gonna get slaughtered.
Yeah,
because you lost your skill. And
everyone's just leveling up, and you just gonna get behind.
Not even because
it's the entry barrier that he was talking about just now.
Not even because of the gear that you get. It's exactly because of the skill. You lose skill.
But also matchmaking sucks.
Matchmaking sucks balls.
But on the single player side of things, I beat the game on realistic with the Samurai and the Knights. I'm still working on the Vikings. I'll say that it's a very different way to think about the game because it removes your UI, so you have to pay attention to the animation of your opponent instead of the, which way is he guarding or whatever. So, and that has made me better in multiplayer because every time someone blinds me, I can look at the animation and figure out pretty fast which way is attacking from.
One small question: does it remove the whole UI, like the health and the stamina bar? Are still
no, you have health and stamina,
okay.
But you don't have the fighting UI.
Okay.
So I've enjoyed that, but at the same time, if you play it cooperatively, the game doesn't scale up. So you can fight on realistic difficulty and just
gang up on the okay.
It's super easy, and I didn't think realistic was too hard on my own. Like I thought it was gonna be a bigger challenge. But I still think For Honor is a good game, but maybe we scored it too high last time. We were very much in love. So
I was being honest.
Sure. That's not the case.
And in this case, I would maintain the score if it wasn't for the connection problems and the crashing problems. I
will probably not be burned out as fast as you guys because I really like fighting games.
What about future updates that they already talked about?
I'm looking forward to seeing the classes.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about For Honor again for sure when those classes roll out.
Cool.
But
for people like us that like the game but are starting to feel burned out, bringing new classes is gonna make us go back into the game for at least 1-2 weeks.
Wait, are you already feeling burned out?
No, not yet.
You okay?
No, I
just
mean,
for now.
I am. I'm feeling burned.
Because I think you've played the most, comparing with us.
Yeah, he killed you the most, but
he killed me with the same character.
How you
so
feeling? It's a B.
Let's lower to a B.
Yeah.
For
I
the
think I will,
reasons,
yeah.
the reasons that I talked about, I'm gonna lower it because of that.
I'm not as burnt out as you guys, but I feel that coming. And so, yeah, B.
Now, Resident Evil, I beat the game finally. And
Just now, I thought you beat the game a long time ago.
Nah. Otherwise, we would have talked about it.
Okay.
We gave it an A last time, and I'm struggling whether I should keep that score or lower it. But I think we're gonna keep it.
All right.
The last third of that game is weaker than the main game, like all the reviews have been saying. Basically, like it takes you to a different place. It's not the mansion that you've been learning through the whole game, and it's a much weaker sort of place. And also, it's not about that tension that you feel that you're running away from an enemy that you can't see, you know? It's not about, oh, is he going to be around this corner? Is he going to be around this? No, there's a lot of monsters and the game wants you to fight.
Okay.
Like, it gives you a machine gun. It gives you a grenade launcher. Like, it's
Suddenly,
still a horror game. It's still a survival game, but it doesn't play on the strong parts of what made that the first 2/3 of Resident Evil really great. And also, I think like there were a lot of cool boss fights during those first 2/3 of the game, and the last third of the game, the ending reveal was cool. The story stuff that happens is cool, but I don't think the encounters were as much fun.
Okay, the scary element you like was weaker throughout.
it's
the
like
game.
suddenly you turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. Is that
No,
kind of scaling? or
not that kind of scaling, but it's kind of like the basement section. You know, there were a lot of those black monsters, and you shoot them in the head, but
Bigger?
a bit more of that, a bit more monsters at the same time because you got better weapons to deal with them.
Okay.
It's okay. It's kind of building the tension to it.
But
I felt
it drags on for a while. I thought that ending was dragged on for a while.
I need to ask, you know, did they introduce new monsters with new mechanics?
Yes, but nothing that I would.
Let me give you a comparison. When I played Amnesia, so you know the main monster that always shows up, you know, that you cannot even get near to him. But also there was a monster that you can only see it in water because you could see the footsteps on water.
Yeah.
So that's another level of scary because you don't know exactly how to deal with that monster.
I don't think there was anything to that level, but I'll say the level design did some smart stuff that wasn't just walking around the house. There's some puzzles there that I really enjoyed.
Cool.
And some disgusting stuff as well, like really gross, like ugh. I don't want to think about it. I still think, like, despite that final third, it's still an awesome game that people should play. Probably one of the best horror games that I've played ever, and I still haven't tried the VR on that.
Sure.
So I think I'll stick with my score. I think I'll give it an A still. And definitely recommend Resident Evil 7, but be prepared because the ending is a lot weaker than the first two
And
thirds.
you're not into that lore of Resident Evil.
No, and it's not necessarily something you have to be into. There's a little thing that ties everything together at the end, but
that can go two ways. Like when they connect to the lore, it's like, oh yeah, after all, this is really awesome. Or if you're not if you're really into that lore, it's like, okay, this sucks.
It's whatever. I didn't. Since I'm not into that lore, I was like, okay,
this like
is an end for a video game, and I can understand you're like doing some fan service for people who enjoy Resident Evil, but it wasn't insulting or egregious. And
no. I mean, for the people who really like the lore, it can be like to go both ways. So, go both ways. Let's live with this.
Like your daddy. Thank you for watching, folks. Another episode of Quick Reviews. I'll catch you guys 2 weeks from now. Thank you, Vegetas.
Well, thank you, Glaucon.
Thank you, Warlock.
You're welcome.
Where's my end screen? Where's my end screen for Judas?
Where's the end screen?
Where's
the end screen?
I'm gonna rub my beard on the microphone, so I have to edit this out.
And the end screen with Judas!